Hi everyone, my name is Felicia. Welcome to my channel. So do you want to know how to prevent fungus gnat when growing mushroom? In this video, I'm going to share 5 tips on how you can prevent fungus gnat when growing mushroom. So I believe in prevention, kind of like my other video where I talk about how to prevent trich in growing mushroom. Because I think prevent so much better, right? So you're preventing it before the problem happens, right? Rather than treating it when the problem is like really bad already, right? So let's get started. So I remember when I first started growing, it wasn't like an issue, but like after a while, like during harvesting, right? So one day when I was harvesting, I noticed in one of the tub, I was like, oh, what's that black fly thing, right? But I didn't pay too much attention to it. I thought it was just like a random fly that got into the tub from the house or from the balcony somewhere, right? Um, so I didn't do anything with it, and then oh my gosh, that's bad mistake. Cause then like I think after 1 or 2 days, it multiplied at a crazy amount in speed. So like it became like so much that I had to isolate the tub, and also it literally destroyed my tub in the end. Cause that time I didn't know what it was, and then I didn't do anything with it. Like I kind of just tried to catch it, and that was bad, right? So the first tip I can give you is that make sure you pick all the boards when during harvesting, because fungus gnat they are attracted to like anything that's rotting. So like a board mushroom, right? So usually you can tell it's a board that by like the size kind of small or dry, or like after a couple of days it doesn't increase in size anymore. Or another thing could be like the cap is like really dark. So that's like signs that's a board mushroom. So it's better to pick it because otherwise, eventually it's going to rot, and that can attract fungus gnat and also like other contaminants, right? So it's best to like pick all the boards like during harvesting. So let's talk about the second tip. So the second tip I can give you is like make sure it's not too wet. So usually if your mushroom tub's tracking fungus gnat, one reason could be it's too wet. So kind of like my other video where I talk about the field capacity. So make sure when you prepare your substrate, right, you do the field capacity test to make sure it's the perfect field capacity. Because if it's too dry, the mushroom's not going to grow well. But if it's too wet, you increase the risk of contamination, and also can increase like the chance that fungus gnat is going to like come here too, right? And also like for during harvesting when you're starting to misting, right? Like make sure you're not over misting because that can make it too wet too, right? So let's talk about the third point. So the third one is invest in a zapper if you have the budget for it. So I would put like the zapper in the room where you grow mushrooms. So any like fungus now or insects that like fly into the zapper will be zapped by it. So it's not gonna go into your mushroom tubs. So let's talk about the fourth point. So I remember when I added this thing to my misting routine. So initially, the tub was a lot of like fungus gnat. So gradually, eventually, I see less and less, and then at the end, there was almost none left. So what's this ingredient? So it's called BTI. It's also called mosquito dunk. So basically, how I do is like I will add 1 mosquito dunk into like a bucket of water, and the water I will use distilled water. So I will fill like two maybe like 3/4 ish full with 1 mosquito dunk, and then I will soak it for at least 24 hours before adding to my spray bottle for misting the tubs with fungus gnat. And before adding to the spray bottle, I will use a tea infuser filter because I noticed that when I don't do that, there's like little bits from the mosquito dunk that can come off, and then it can clog your spray bottle nozzle. So I use like a filter to prevent that, and then like I'll use that to mist like the mushroom tubs with the fungus gnat. And I would say for 1 mosquito dunk, it can last me like around like a monthish. So usually after a month, then I will add another mosquito dunk to make sure the water still has that BTI in it, right? So it's still effective. So like the BTI thing works because so it's the type of bacteria, right? So it kills like the larva stage or the egg stage of the fungus gnat, so it doesn't like get into the adult form, because that's when you see it multiply, right? So usually like the fungus gnat, it can lay eggs in like the mushroom substrates, and usually once it lay eggs can like a huge amount. That's why like you see it multiply like a crazy like amount or speed. So like BTI is about prevention, and I believe in prevention, right? I think it's always better if you can prevent the problem from happening in the first place rather than treating it when the problem is really bad, right? And another thing I really like about the BTI is like it's safe, right? So it's safe for a human, and then it's safe for animals and safe for mushroom too, right? Because there's like other chemicals like things out there you could use, right? But like if it's for myself, or like I don't want anything that's like not safe to eat, or like it can possibly harm the mushroom. I don't want that, right? So that's why I like BTI. Yeah. And then another thing is like you have to keep reapplying it, because the mushroom when you mist during the harvesting is gonna absorb it, right? So you have to keep misting like during every harvest. So for this one, you're not gonna see like the immediate stop, but if you keep reapplying it, like gradually you'll see, oh, there's less and less fungus nuts, and eventually there will be like pretty much none left. So it works really well. So let's talk about the last point. So if we have like a way to deal with like the larva stage to eliminate it before becoming the adult, how do we deal with the adult form, right? Other than the zapper? So the answer is the yellow sticky traps. So it works like really, really well. So I remember like when I first bought it, so that was like for the tub that like had like really, really bad infestation of like fungus nuts. Is because like I didn't know what I was dealing with, so I kind of dealt with it too late. So I put like the yellow sticky trap in it, and then and the next day when I check it, oh my gosh, it was like kind of scary and disgusting. So it's not even yellow anymore. It's like become black because it's full of fungus nuts, right? Because it's yeah, just too much. It was like really disgusting. I even had to put like more than one trap in it, but it was because I dealt with it too late, right? But it definitely works. And it's so sticky that like when I first started using it, I noticed even like when one wing of the fungus nut stuck to it, the trap, it cannot escape, right? So it works really, really well. Um, and also another thing is, so depending on which brand you buy for the yellow sticky traps, some like come with like the wooden sticks where you can like use that to like stick to the trap, and then you can like put in your mushroom substrate, right? But I found like with the wooden stick, like mold can grow like on it, right? So it's not good, right? So I found like an alternative. I use like a plastic thing, like so the thing you use like to stir your coffee in, and it's plastic, right? So mold doesn't grow on it, right? So it works much better. Um, yeah. So I would say like the BTI to control like the larva stage, plus like the yellow sticky traps, like together they work really really well. So one's like targeting like the larva stage, like the prevention, and then the yellow sticky traps for like catching the adult form, right? So together they complement each other really well. And then if you like continue to use it, like you will see like a gradual decrease and decrease, and eventually almost none left. So yeah. One more thing. So for the yellow sticky trap, I would tape one to like the zapper, because I think for some reason like the insect like fungus gnat, they're attracted to that bright yellow color. So when I tape one onto the zapper, it kind of like further attract them to the zapper. So like two together like work really really well. Yeah. So thank you for watching, liking, and subscribing, and comment below what other videos you would like me to create in the future. And also, don't forget to check out, I have this other video about how to prevent trich. So that's one of the biggest contaminant in growing mushroom. And so you can say goodbye to trich forever. Yeah, and further increase your yield in the harvesting, right? So see you next video, and much love.